Well, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. If you're a parent and you're curious as to how you could probably not saying you're a bad parent, but if you're curious as to how you might be able to parent a bit better than you might feel you're doing at the minute, then watch this video because I'm going to share not the secret as such, but the natural essence of what we can do to be a good parent. I've explained on previous videos that life is a movie. It's you'll have noticed yourself in your own life. It's constantly changing. One minute you'll feel extremely good, and the next minute you'll feel miserable, and that can change on a day-to-day basis, from week to the next. But the beauty about how life flows, life flows is it changes and flows from one moment to the next. Now, that said, going back to the point of wanting to parent better, our natural essence is a blank slate. It's pure. Before we start to create the movie in our mind, it's a blank slate for us, a blank canvas. So basically, if you want to parent better, you just have to do it from a really good place within here. You often see parents, don't you, around the world at supermarkets or shopping malls, and kids are being kids, screaming, having temper tantrums. And you just see the parents just, without sugarcoating, losing their shit over the kid, just, lying on their back, screaming their head off. And, it's not the parent's fault, and it's not the child's fault. They're both, the child and the parent, are seeing life the way they're seeing it and acting it out in the way that feels real and right to them. So if a child's upset, they're going to be on the floor having a massive temper tantrum, and the parent has reacted to it. Now, I give that scenario again to give you an example of what I'm talking about. If the child is in, I don't know, Asda, Walmart, wherever, and decides to on R5 to have an absolute mother of meltdowns and screaming the place down at an R5. A parent who is switched on into what I'm saying, what I'm trying to convey, will deal with that situation a hell of a lot better, rather than screaming at the child to stop doing that and expecting the child to react from that screaming in a positive way. It might occur to the parent, if they're doing it from the heart rather than reacting wildly to it, to get down on one knee to the child and talk to them gently, and that might give a much better reaction than screaming at them, expecting them to stop. It might make it. It's like having a fire. That situation is like having a fire and having some petrol and just dousing it, and it's just going to make it even worse. Whereas if you just take a step back and do it from the heart, that situation you'll deal with a lot better. It's not just young kids as well. This can help with teenagers too. It might even work better with teenagers because they kind of, as well as we get older, they seem to be at the start of what we as adults experience on a day-to-day basis. They're having, going back, I made a video before about how children can just go from one reality to another in an instant, not just like that. From 5 minutes to the next 5 minutes, they're in completely different worlds. You don't need me to explain that in depth, but it's true, isn't it? And teenagers, kind of get a little bit like adults. That what a reality to them could last a lot longer than when they were younger. It might be harder for a teenager to take with dealing with their emotions and that kind of thing, if they don't know where the feelings and emotions are quite actually coming from. So you can parent from the heart just as much with teenagers as you can with children if you're doing it from the good place. So if you've got a 15-year-old boy or a 15-year-old girl, say for instance, and you can't get a word out of them, all you get is grunts back, not really, not really being too responsive to you, getting, short, snappy answers back like, oh, you're always getting on at me. At a point, you might be getting on at them, but it's not your fault. Remember, you're just doing what you feel is right in your reality. Nagging might be that, but again, if you take a step back and do it from a feeling of love, which you're made of and your child's made of, you'll get a much better answer of what to do in these situations with your kids. You'll deal with a situation like that better if a teenager is just being moody with you. You the right answer. You'll get wiser if you know what I'm talking about with misunderstanding. You'll get wiser. You'll probably say to yourself, well, Jimmy, 15-year-old Jimmy doesn't seem very responsive. I'll come back in a couple of hours. Maybe they'll be a bit more open to talking later on. And that's wise advice to yourself, because if you come back in 2 hours with a much more gentler approach to the matter and wanting to talk to Jimmy, then Jimmy might respond a lot more openly to you about what might be their problem, rather than we've seen it all before, haven't we, on TV programs and reality, people trying to approach teenagers to breach the subject and bang a massive. Teens didn't like how their parent approached them, didn't want to talk about the topic that was bothering them, and it just made a blazing row, and then they didn't talk with each other for weeks. Whereas, if you're in a good place, chances are you'll do it properly, and giving it a bit of time, and also, doing it from the heart, you're likely to have your teenage son or daughter respond back in a more positive way. It's funny, isn't it? Because when we're in low moods, and the other person's in a low mood, for some reason, because we're so desperate to get out of this low mood, we might do the wrong thing. People in low mood feel as if it's a good time to talk, when it's the worst time to talk. The best time to talk is when you're feeling in a good place. And yeah, as I said, this it's not just children. You can use this understanding with your spouse. I did a video last week about couples. It's the same thing. All these videos that I point to, the understanding, it always points to the same thing. But it works in so many situations and scenarios. With relationship with work, relationship with your children, relationship with your other half, relationship with your boss, relationship with your animal pets, relationship with yourself, even. So all you have to do is remember what you really are. What you think and perceive isn't really you. You're something much more beautiful than that, deep down in your essence of your heart. We all are that, but we're just in different disguises, different bodies. When you understand that, and understand that you're creating whatever it is you're going through at the minute, when you have that understanding, you have the confidence to know it can change to your benefit, and you can use that understanding and confidence to do with any situation that's going on, whatever's going on, whether it's relationships or issues at work. Yeah, try it. If you got a child you're having problems with, or a teenager having problems with, try approaching them in a good place. If you're in a bad place, don't even go there. Wait a little bit, even if it's a day. Wait until you're in a good place, and the chances are that the situation you're dealing with will be dealt with much more positively than if you're renting like a bull in a china shop. Try it. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon on the next video. Bye bye.